welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning. Welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, February is turning out to be a very busy month.
Yes, it is. I agree.
I do not remember as many activities in the month of February as I do this year. And because of it, we actually are going to have 3 distinct guests on talking about upcoming events. We're going to start off talking with a past guest, Women of the Pines, which is a 501 C3 charity. Mm-hmm. They're doing a wine and bourbon, cheese and chocolate pairing party at Forest Creek.
Ooh, sounds like fun.
Yeah, February the 19th, which is a Saturday, from 6 to 9 p.m. And here to speak about the event and other things relating to the Women of the Pines is the event chair, Kathy Newcomb, Glenda Kirby, who's a program chair of the Women of the Pines, and Barb Summers, who was on when we spoke about the, I think, the bake sale that you had. Barb is membership chair, and you're the chair of catering.
Well,
what is that?
Well,
not many
in
people
a sense,
are
we just we're working with Forest Creek to determine the menu and things of that nature, in which we hope to fine tune that before the week is over.
Yeah, Glenda. Tell me about the event that's coming up on February the 19th.
Oh, it's Kathy, okay? We have a wine, bourbon, cheese,
Kathy,
and chocolate.
forgive me.
No problem.
Forgive me.
I answer to anything.
No.
Wine, bourbon, cheese, and chocolate pairing party. We'll have wine in a bourbon room. We'll have cheese and chocolate pairings from our bourbon ambassadors, our wine ambassadors, and a chocolatier, and then a cheese expert. We will also be offering light hors d'oeuvres. We'll have some live entertainment, and we will actually have a bourbon room separately where we will be offering different small tastings of different bourbons and wines so you can experience it. At this time is February 19th, 6 to 9 p.m. at Forest Creek Golf Course. At this time, I'd like to please thank our sponsors who have been so generous in helping us with this fundraising event. Forest Creek, naturally, has been outstanding. We also have the Empire Distributors of North Carolina. We have Form V Chocolate. And then we also have the Republic National Distributing Company that is helping us out. We have 2 main supporters. We have Glenda Kirby, her trust for her late Gerald Claude Kirby. Then we have Victoria Atkins. We have our real estate agents who has helped us with the Caldwell Bank and Advantage. And then we have also Jim Alley, who is Imagine That Wine, who will be helping us with the pairing tables and giving people information on the combination. We have Southern Way, First Bank, and the Amazing Grace Farm also. We have been very, very fortunate, to have this support for the event, and it has bringing us really closer to our fundraising goal this year.
So tell me about the fundraising. The monies that you raise are earmarked how?
Well, it depends on, we give back. Barbara's going to talk a little bit about that. We give back to local charities,
right?
And we look at their mission and their finances, and that is how we describe what we want to do and give back to our community.
The Women of the Pines is known for their bake sales.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all making an effort to spread your wings a little bit and go different roads, different avenues to raise funds?
We are. I mean, we are known for our bake sale, and that kind of kicks us off in the fall. This was a new idea.
Good
this
idea.
Event that we're having coming up, and that. So, like anything, you kind of navigate what might not happen. But from this, we hope it to grow and become one of our regular events. We still will have our fashion show, which will be in April, and that will be also out at Forest Creek. What we're probably phasing away from is our rummage sale, which had been a big event for us for many, many years.
Right.
But with COVID, we just kind of rethought it, so we're looking for a new way to raise monies for our local charities.
You know, I remember when I was in college, there was never a course called fundraising.
Yes.
Right.
ever. We had to take the required classes that we had to take to graduate. They didn't teach you to think outside the box, did they?
No, they
But
didn't.
but that's
Not
what
those
we
days,
that's
yeah.
what we have to do.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
We have to get from here to there, and you have to be creative. You have to hold people's attention. But Moore County is a very giving community, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yes.
Don't-
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So people can go online to womenofthepines.org to purchase their tickets.
That's correct.
Is that the way to obtain them?
That's correct.
Okay. And are you hoping to bring in a whole new group of people who maybe are not familiar with Women of the Pines?
It has become a popular event, and reaching out this way has really something that we have interest in is keeping, our community at large and welcoming members, of all different caliber.
Okay. How many people are you hoping to have it?
We can have up to 150.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Forest Creek has some beautiful facilities.
very
Yes.
large. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
they do.
Um,
Stunningly beautiful.
yeah, Glenda, you're involved in the event as well.
Yes, primarily with the decorating, helping out Forest Creek. We're also offering entertainment. We'll have some music. We're doing a roulette wheel raffle, which will be very interesting. And we're also having a wine pool, and all of those we will sell tickets for and also offer a very nice door prize.
So in the 22 years that I've been here, when I see an event like this with what you're doing, I usually associate it for the fall season. This is not something, this is, February is traditionally, January, February, a slow month.
Well, the
Romance.
reason why it was changed is originally we had it for February 13th, so it would be by Valentine's Day.
Makes sense?
But then we found out we would be in competition with Super Bowl, and we didn't want that.
Right,
So that's why we
exactly.
changed the date to be a little bit later in the month.
Exactly. Glenda, you were going to say something too.
We are going to continue with the romantic theme and hope it's an evening out for couples that will have fun and enjoy the wine and the refreshments.
And it could be done, if it's successful, it could be done at different times of the year, correct?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
But this is your first foray into this. Do you have, tell me about some of the other events that you have coming up this year.
Well, we have a fashion show that's coming up that's always been very popular, and that will be at Forest Creek also. And as Barb said, we have the actual bake sale. Okay. Also, Glenda has put together a program for one of our program speakers that we had to cancel out due to illness. And why don't you talk about that a little bit, Glenda?
Yes, on the in March 4th, we're going to have Dee Dee Petri, who's also in charge of the Olmsted Parks Association.
Right.
And she's going to do a presentation for
Yep,
us at
yep.
the Pinehurst Village.
Yeah.
And we're getting a great response to that.
Are
We're
you?
getting a lot of publicity. And we're hoping these special events will be another way that Women of the Pines can give back to our community.
We're
looking for other ways to give back.
Yeah, we actually are going to speak to Dee Dee. She's agreed to do a phone interview
Yes.
prior to her her speech.
Yes.
Is it a lecture? Do you call it a lecture, or just is it?
It's a presentation.
Okay.
It's a presentation for the 200-year birthday of the Olmsted Parks.
Okay. So the event is February the 19th from 6 to 9 at the Forest Creek Golf Club. For a lot of people who haven't been there, that alone would be a great reason to come and see what everyone is talking about. It's $60 per person. And do you want to talk very briefly, we have about a minute, some of the agencies that you support in Moore County?
Well, that is also one of the reasons why these fundraisers are so important to us and,
Yeah.
and engaging our membership in the community because of our mission. But some of the ones that we've given to is the food bank. We've also done Backpack Pals, Friend to Friend. And one thing that we always endeavor to do each year, if we can, at least one scholarship to Sandhills Community College.
Nice.
And we're recognized with that. Of course, the past couple of years, COVID has kind of limited us to our funds, but we have been giving 2 every year. So that's one of the things we're known for in the community, but we want to branch out.
So from my perspective, I've lived here 22 years. Women of the Pines seems to do everything they can to remain relevant. We have changing demographics going on like crazy.
Yeah.
And you guys are out in the forefront, and it's good to see. So I hope people reserve February the 19th for the Forest Creek Golf Club. $60 a person. Tickets can be purchased at thewomanofthepines.org, their website. And wish you the best of luck. And we're looking forward to speaking with Dee Dee as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. This is we'll be back in the second set with the Encore Center. Welcome back to our second set on All Things Moore County. The events keep coming, Dorothy. We are switching gears to the Encore Center in downtown Southern Pines. And guess what that means? Artistic director Jacob Toth is in the house.
Back again.
We should have him come in here, set up an office for him.
No kidding.
He keeps a frenetic schedule. It's amazing to me. Jacob, you've had a busy holiday season.
We have.
You came on last week just to kind of talk a little bit about your upcoming event this coming weekend.
Actually, yes, we just opened. So,
yeah, you just opened.
Yeah, so we are in our dinner theater time. It's the same time slot that you opened with us last season.
Right, that's
so
before they shut the Encore Center down.
Well, it was so popular that we're bringing it back, actually.
Are you really?
Yes, because of you, single-handedly.
Hardly.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it is our dinner theater show. It's our Valentine's show. It's around the world in 80 days.
Yes.
The fun thing about this show is that it's only 5 actors playing 39 roles.
How does that work?
Well,
I don't get it.
a lot of hat changes. But I brought one of the actors, Mr. Denny here,
Yep.
who is playing a bulk of the characters. I don't even know. Have you counted up how many characters you're playing?
18 roles.
He's playing 18 roles in an hour and a half.
I sleep well at night.
See, I have to tell you that when I did the love letters last year, we didn't have to memorize anything. Look at the face he just gave me. We just had to read letters. Even I could do that, right? I couldn't memorize anything. I had never done that before. How do you memorize all these lines?
Poorly. No, it's I have, and keeping in mind that this is my first foray into theater.
He's got a great voice.
Right.
Since high school, which for those in the audience, it's been a day or two. I'm learning how to be in the character and give each character kind of its own personality,
Yeah.
which helps to organize. There are many, many characters. There's one stretch where I'll do 3 characters in the span of about 90 seconds.
Crazy.
That's fun.
Tell me, overview of Around the World in 80 days.
So it's a Jules Verne novel. It's set in 1872. It's about a gentleman. It's just when the India Railway is opening up, so you can get all the way across India. So it's cutting down the travel time. And the gentleman in England, Mr. Phileas Fogg, makes a bet with some other gentlemen that he can make it around the world in 80 days
Right.
by both steamer and train.
Right.
And so he's going to go from London to India to Hong Kong in the Far East to all the way over to San Francisco, across the United States to New York, and back to London. And he's got a $20,000 pound bet. And I have Mr. Phileas Fogg right next to me. This is Bob Dyer.
Bob Dyer, good morning.
Good morning.
Have you done this before?
I've done theater before, yes, and I would like to clarify that there are 4 actors doing 37 parts, and I'm doing 1. And
It's true.
So
Phileas
I'm the only
only
one who
has to
does
play
not have to
Phileas.
do any other thing. So
You're
because
only-
I'm not capable of doing more than just
That
one.
is not true.
And why is that?
It's just how it was written, because Phileas Fogg is in almost every scene, because the story is obviously about him. So he only has to play himself, and everyone else works much harder.
And they do. They work very, very hard, and I feel like a slob compared
So I had never been into the Encore Theater until, I guess, last January when Jacob called for rehearsals. And the more time I spent there, the more I got to see the rhythm and the spirit of the place and what they're doing. And there was an intimacy that kind of formed, and I got to see the organic, the growth, the teachers, the whole lifestyle that was there. Every time I go by the Encore Center now, I see parents bringing their kids in for lessons, middle of the week. I went by there last Monday, and they come in the back. It's a full 24/7 theater and acting and musical
Studio
and
space,
dancing
yeah.
experience.
Absolutely. We're very much about bringing the arts here to Moore County, especially here in the Southern Pines area. We want to expose people to the arts, expose children to the arts, especially, as you know, getting kids to look up from their devices and look you in the eye is so important. And the arts do that because you have to interact with other people.
So I have to tell you a little bit. I have to brag on Jacob. So we had him here the week before Thanksgiving, and he came on, and he was. You were doing the show with Noah.
Christmas Story.
The Christmas Story. But I asked him to stay for the second half of the show because I had some students who sat on this table between the ages of 9 and maybe 16 or 15. Jacob has a way to bring out the best in the kids, right? He has a relatedness that is unusual. He's probably very good to work for.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Tremendous.
And not just because he's sitting here.
I know.
When he leaves, you're going to tell me something different?
Actually, it would be the same.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a very pleasurable experience.
So how did you all hook up? How did you because you've never done this before?
So, fun story. My kids take lessons there. And just last night during practice, so you mentioned the word frenetic. I am a very frenetic character, and there are many times where I'll leave on one side and go all the way around through another studio in order to get to the other side,
right,
so that I can make my appearance.
Your change over.
Well, last night, as I'm running through with my hair on fire, I see my daughter and my wife out in the hallway because she was leaving her lesson.
What is she a musical student?
She is. She takes voice lessons right now.
She takes
voice lessons.
Voice lessons.
Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. That's another thing I noticed last year. With all the free time in between the practices and this and that, I would meander through different rooms, and you'd open the door and you'd see a class of young kids. I was videotaping some of them. I was so taken by what they're doing there. So a year later, the Encore Theater has traction.
Absolutely. We are thriving. We are growing.
Yeah.
We are, making our mark here in Moore County. So it's a lot of fun.
One of the parents of one of the students we know in common sent me an email. It said you had invited her daughter to be in one of the ensembles.
Absolutely.
You probably know who I'm talking about.
do.
So, so kids go home, right? They get selected. They're so excited. She was so genuinely surprised. But for a kid, I guess she's 15.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is.
Beautiful young lady. You remember when you were 15 and you were selected for anything? It elevated you, right? And so he has that. And those impressions you make on these kids, they're not going to forget. They're going to remember you when you're an old man.
I hope so.
So the dinner theater, last year, because of COVID, you were limited in what you could, how many people you could accommodate. What about this year?
This year, we aren't as limited, but we are only doing 32 seats per show because we're taking out all of our chairs and we're putting in tables and chairs, obviously, to accommodate for the food and the plates and all of that. So it is only 32 tickets per show, but we are doing 8 shows. So we opened this week, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and then the same next weekend. So the dates are the 11th, 12th, and 13th, and then the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Showtimes are a little different. We're still doing our 2 o'clock matinee, and that's on Saturday and Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's a $30 ticket, but you get a charcuterie platter for 2 with that, as well as a drink.
Yeah.
And then for the evening, we are starting at 6:30, which is a little bit earlier, but it's because of the dinner time and Ashten's schedule and putting it all together.
Sure.
So the dinner is $50, but you're getting a 2-course meal plus a drink for that.
And Ashton's has got to be a little bit busier this year than last year with COVID.
They are. They've rescheduled their seating. They're only doing 2 seatings an evening in Ashten's.
Right.
So our seating actually falls between, so it actually all works out.
That's
perfectly.
great. That's great. Your the teaching end of the Encore Center
Yes.
is also growing. It's not just the productions that the Encore Theater puts on.
Absolutely. So our classes go along with the school year. So we're doing just like they are, August to June, and the beginning of June is when we have our big recital. It culminates all in that, and all the kids are learning numbers to put towards that recital. And this year, our theme for the recital is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
so
yeah, fun.
it's all going to have a candy theme and kind of a lot of fun.
Fun. Last year I remember we only did one weekend with love letters. I had to check into a hospital. I was so tired. I mean, I was exhausted. It was a different type of tiredness, like nothing I had ever experienced. You guys, you're doing 2 weekends in a row. It'll catch up to you.
2 shows a night for 2 of those.
You especially, playing all these characters. You might go to the wrong home when you're done because you won't know who you are.
My wife will guide me. I should be fine. When I get there, however, the exhaustion is real.
Yeah.
And it shows itself by the end of the night. We're doing practice almost every night from around 5:30 until about 9 to 9:30 some nights, and I am completely spent at the end of the night. It's awesome. Make no mistake, it is a fabulous experience, but it is quite frenetic. I keep using that because that is the word.
Okay, I have questions for both of you gentlemen. What does your daughter think about your participation?
Very excited.
How old is she?
Well, I have 3 children. I've got a 15-year-old boy, a 12-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old daughter. The 12-year-old daughter is very, very excited. She is very dramatic, sings, dances, ballet, does the whole performance. So she is very, very excited. The 8-year-old daughter is like, "Go, Dad," and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
They're all very, very supportive, but I'm missing in the afternoons and evenings. So it's
your
a trade-off.
12-year-old is the one taking voice lessons.
She is, yes, Riley. Mm-hmm.
And how long has she been doing that?
She's been taking voice lessons for almost a year, a little bit short of a year.
Where has she come from where she started to today?
It's pretty dramatic, as a matter
She's
of
jumped
fact.
rapidly. She was in a show for us last summer. She was in Moana for us last summer, and she was a joy to work with, and she's just a little ball of sunshine, and I love her. But just to hear her now, it's amazing in the short period how well she's doing.
Is that right? And you are her, you work
I'm
with,
not her voice teacher, but
Okay.
I was her director for Moana. when
for
she was in-
Moana. Okay. And Bob Dyer, I have a question for you. You said you have done theater before?
Yes.
Where have you done theater?
Back in Illinois. I moved to Laurinburg 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so I was very active in theater back there. And I was in the school system for a number of years. And so I had directed shows and been tech director for shows in part of the school district as well.
And how did Mr. Toth find you?
I had the pleasure of going to a couple of the shows at Encore.
Oh, is that right?
Seeing Steel Magnolias when they did that,
Yep.
because one of my friends two of my friends were in that. And then also coming back for Christmas Story, and our paths crossed there. And he said they were looking for a Phileas Fogg. I said, well, if you're really desperate, I'm the one that, you could perhaps ask me. And so it worked out where I was able to be cast, and I'm very, 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 very glad that it did.
Good for you. Coming up, we want to give people a little more information about the tickets and everything, but tell us very briefly about some of the upcoming productions that people are going to see in 2022.
Well, I can't reveal anything yet. I can tell you we are closing our season this year in April, end of April, beginning of May, with a small musical called The Spitfire Grill.
Oh, yeah.
It's a movie from the early 90s.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's charming. It's about a young girl that goes to this northern town where there's hardly anyone there, and an older woman is owning a cafe that she wants to get rid of, and so they have a letter writing contest, and someone wins the cafe at the end. So it's a cast of about 7 singing, not much dancing, but it's a very folksy country feel to it. It's lovely. Then we go into our summer. We're having 3 kids camps this summer. We've announced that we are doing Little Shop of Horrors for our teen camp, and then our all-age camp, we are doing Newsies Junior. So that's very exciting. We're doing 2 of those. So that's going to be one in the month of June, one in July, and one in August. So we're going to have a busy summer. And then this March, we are having our season reveal to tell you what we're doing for our 2022-2023 season. So.
Which means the fall and the holiday season.
Exactly. Our season runs August to May, so we will have a full schedule for you for next year.
Okay. For parents who are listening,
Yes.
who are interested in the Encore Center, if they haven't been,
Yep.
or they have students, children who
Absolutely.
they can go to the encorecenter.net. Is that?
That is correct.
To start the process?
EncoreCenter.net covers everything, both the theater side of it and the studio side. They can find out all information that they want to there. They can register there, everything right there on that website.
Yeah, I think parents' word of mouth, if they have students in the programs, that is better than any advertising you could
Absolutely.
possibly do.
Absolutely.
If their child comes home and they feel their self-esteem is up, their talent level has changed, and now you and your daughter have something to talk about at dinner,
Absolutely.
right? She can coach you.
And has.
The show is Around the World in 80 Days. It's going to be at the Encore Center. It opened last night. Shows today, shows tomorrow, and then next weekend, the 18th through the 20th.
That is correct.
Is that correct? 32 available
Seats per show.
for show. And how many of them will be dinner theater related?
4 of the 8 performances
Four of
are
the
dinner and 4 are matinees.
Okay.
And it's a great Valentine's Day gift.
Well, I'm glad you guys could come in and talk to us about it. I'm sure you had a great response last night.
We did.
And good luck. Pleasure to meet you guys.
Pleasure to meet you.
And after you have to check into the hospital after your exhaustion, call me. I have electrolytes for you
Very
and
nice.
whatever you need. Jacob, it was
Always
a
a
pleasure.
pleasure, Bill.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank you. Go see Around the World in 80 Days at the Encore Center. We'll be back in the third set. Welcome back to our third and final set of All Things Moore County. We're going to shift gears once again, but one of my favorite topics, Dorothy, as you'll know, is when we talk about some of the downtown areas of Moore County and some of the great architecture, the history here, because it's changed so much in the last 25 years, and with the demographic shifts that are going on, we want people to appreciate what Moore County is. What, in particular, today we're going to be speaking about Aberdeen. And we had Nicole Esquires on just a couple of weeks ago, and she's part of that renaissance that's been going on in the downtown area, because downtown Aberdeen is not recognizable to me compared to 2005. Nope. There's an energy and there's a vibrancy. Certainly there's a demographic shift. I have 3 distinguished guests who are joining me for this last set. Wilma Laney, who is town commissioner.
That's right. That's correct.
From where I come from, we just say council people, but that's okay. And Wilma was on a few years ago, I guess when you were running for office.
That's right.
And she's also being joined by Betsy Mofield, who is a former mayor of Aberdeen. And how many terms did you serve, Betsy?
As mayor?
Yeah.
7.
So you were.
And 4 as commissioner.
Can I ask what time period you were mayor?
You can ask.
You don't want to. You don't want to
No,
volunteer.
No,
Okay.
I was on the board as a commissioner for 12 years, and then I took a little break for 6 years.
Okay.
And then I ran for mayor and was elected 7 times.
So nobody knows the demographic shifts as much as you do.
Well,
Pretty much. You're a native of Aberdeen.
right.
Okay.
Right.
And Faye Honeycutt is here with us as well. You also served as Town of Aberdeen Commissioner. You're also a native of
Born
Aberdeen.
and raised in Aberdeen.
Is that right?
But we were gone we've been back 41 years. So I still feel like I'm a native.
I think there's a lot of knowledge and history at this table. Wilma contacted me a couple of weeks ago, and she brought something to my attention that we have not had on the show, but we want to highlight today, and that's the Postmaster's house, which is the oldest building in downtown Aberdeen, Wilma.
That's correct.
And tell me a little bit about what's been going on with it. Was it literally the Postmaster's house?
It was.
It was.
The first postmaster in Aberdeen lived in that house.
And how long has it been? Is it owned by the town right now?
No, it's owned by a private organization.
Okay.
Which is the Postmasters group.
We've been a nonprofit since 1999.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, so we are very much into receiving donations.
Well,
fundraising. They've done it all with private funds.
And making people aware of its existence, too. Your audience today is different than it was 20 years ago. Once people get into downtown Aberdeen, they go, oh my gosh, look at this. It's really, you should be proud. Betsy, from where you sit, what do you think about when my kid sister came here in 2004, we went down to some of the antique shops, and it was cute, but it was not busy, and it looked like the owners of the stores were generations older than she was. She thought she was in a souped-down version of Soho in New York, but there were no young people.
Right. We've had a lot of new business owners to come into the area with a lot of vibrance and a lot of good ideas. But this is not a renaissance for Aberdeen. We have been a shopping center for a very, very long time. In fact, we were one of the original shopping centers in our little area. And I have to tell you this story. In the 50s, we had, not I, but Aberdeen had to have a policeman on the streets to keep people moving because there was so much walking traffic.
Is that right?
In the downtown area. Isn't that funny? And we had 3 grocery stores. We had 2 drugstores. The post office was there. It was just a very vibrant, small, congested little area. Belk's originally was in Aberdeen.
Is that right?
Yes, a lot of big stores were there too.
We were called the shopping center of the Sandhills.
That's right. We had 2 hardware stores. One was Bernie Hardware,
Yep.
started in Aberdeen.
Yep.
And so our parents, and we as children, Faye and I as children, remember some of that going on in downtown Aberdeen. But
Right.
we had a lot of, so we're coming back.
Well, tell me.
This is our second renaissance.
Tell me about the Postmaster's house. What is it used for today?
We use it for parties, showers, reunions,
Okay.
that kind of thing. And then we're renting, of course, and that's one of the ways we can keep the expenses paid by renting it.
Oh, so you do rent that? You
Yes.
rent it for events?
For events.
Okay, okay. I mean, you wouldn't rent it to me to live there.
Not really.
No. Okay.
We've had several people
I have a
want
good
to do
I
that.
have a good track record. I clean. I'm neat.
They wanted to say, we
Just
can live
let me
upstairs.
just give you a little bit of the history about
Please.
it from when we first started. This piece of property went with a larger piece of property that had industry on it.
Okay.
And so it was sold at the same time to the manufacturer that's there now. They, in turn, gave it to the town of Aberdeen. And so the town had it for just a few years without doing anything to it. And it was used as a residence. Someone was living there. And then, and Faye, you can help me out on this, but the town had no specific use for it. And so they offered it to anyone who would take it as a privately funded organization.
Okay.
And Faye
I
was
was on the board.
She
at
was
that
on the
time, and
board then.
Steve Biggs, who was a town manager, wanted the board members to be involved in activities that were going on in Aberdeen. So he gave us the choice of the Postmaster's house was one of the choices. And so we I chose that when I was a commissioner, and then my term went out, and then we kept on working. It was a bad-looking house when we got it. It really was.
So it needs a lot of support. I mean, it requires a lot of maintenance.
It requires anything that from 1880.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of maintenance, and there's been a lot of sweat equity put in that. Originally, a lot of people, we worked hard. We've gotten old between since then.
So have you always relied on donations to?
Donations and fundraisers.
Okay,
And grants.
And we have received a couple of grants.
So on a 10-point scale, well, how would you rate the awareness of the Postmaster's House to the public today? 10-point scale.
For anybody who's used it,
Yeah, of course.
they come back.
Of course.
But I would say that we're halfway there. We're
Okay.
about a 5 as far as awareness.
Okay.
It's a little gem for organizations and meetings and parties and fundraisers. I mean, it's a wonderful place. And let me just give you a little story
Yep.
about it that is dear to my heart. My high school class used it for our high school reunion, our 50th high school reunion.
Oh my goodness.
And we went to the depot and went through the Aberdeen High School Museum, and then we had a catered meal at the Postmaster's house in the afternoon. And so we were sitting there and we were having so much fun. And the caterer came and he left, but he left the food. They have a wonderful little kitchen in there with everything you need. And we sat there and we talked and we talked and we talked. And the next thing we knew, we were getting out the leftovers. And we had dinner there. And that afternoon activity
Yeah.
went right through until that night.
You just lingered.
And we just had so much fun. It was such a comfortable setting.
Yeah.
And we just delighted in each other's company, and that we had a place that we could just sit around and talk, and people would get up and get some tea or whatever they wanted, you know. So it's a very comfortable setting for you to have a party. And they have this organization that Faye started and has continued. They have completely, they have a complete kitchen, plates, forks, knives, spoons, cups, saucers, glasses. So you can just walk right in with your food.
Right.
And at one time,
Make yourself
that
at home.
organization was so active that they actually would cater someone, wouldn't you, Faye?
We did a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah. The people, the members of the organization were so into promoting that location that they would, if you wanted them to, they would provide meal service for you.
So today, if people want to come down and look at the walk through the Postmaster's house, maybe to scout it out for a future event, how do they do that?
Well, they can call. Molly Wilson is in charge of the rentals now from Aberdeen.
Okay.
And they can call her, and she lives right across the street. So that would be a good person to call. Wilma would be a good. I'm not active right now because I live in Southern Pines.
Okay.
So,
Do you have Molly's number?
not with.
Okay, we'll get it.
Okay.
Wilma, I need yours.
Okay, mine is 910
Right,
944
right.
5502.
Okay.
And I just want to say too,
Yeah.
you can call the town, and I've already changed the information at the town that Molly is going to be renting the house now. She's going to be taking care of that, and that, you know, Faye is no longer doing that. And so, you know, because I asked, and a few people told me the way they got to Faye is because they called the town.
Okay.
So, and the town will tell them how to get to us.
And if people want to make a donation, who would it be made out to?
Friends of the Postmaster's house.
What's your box number? Do you have a post office box?
The P.O. box number is 302, and it's Aberdeen, North Carolina.
Okay. Aberdeen. Okay. This as spring comes, people are starting to get out. Hopefully, soon as the weather hopefully warms up, you want to put the postmaster's house on its best Sunday outfit, correct? But it takes money to keep it.
We are constantly
Yeah.
maintaining and repairing.
Yeah.
Any old house.
Yeah.
That there's always something to do, and we're working right now,
Yeah.
getting a lot of repairs done.
Yeah. Well, Four Properties we're going to make a donation. And
Very good.
Yeah, we're going to make a donation, and if you ever have any, if you have an event schedule or anything, any information you want to give me, we can certainly talk about it throughout the course of the year. I'm all about preserving what we have. This is such a great area to live. The downtown areas in Moore County are charming, and we want to keep them charming.
That's right.
And we don't want them to change. And the younger families moving into town, it's a gift to them.
It is.
It's a gift to live here.
And when they come to check out the house, and I used to show it a lot, they would say, well, this is just like being home. It's so comfortable.
Right.
It's not sterile.
Right. Right.
Folding chairs, and we have folding chairs and tables and things like that, but it does look, we have some antique furniture in up there also. And it's comfortable. It looks like you're home.
Well, I hope people become more aware of it, people who maybe are new to the area. And you have a lot of events this year, and we get some additional funds raised to keep it in its best light.
We've had weddings.
Yep.
Parties.
Yep.
We've even had a visitation after funerals, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When people had receptions.
Well, Wilma, thanks for bringing it to my attention and coming on.
Okay.
And ladies, thank you, Faye. Thank you, Betty. Really, really.
Let me
good,
just put
Betsy.
in one more plug for the Postmaster's house.
Okay.
The rental fee is
I know what you're going to say.
very appropriate.
I know what you're going to
very
say.
nice.
It's very reasonable.
We have at the Postmaster's house, of course, there's a wraparound porch with rocking chairs on it, so you can spread to the outside. It's on a lovely site, and if you join the Postmaster's house, you become a member of their little organization. That same rental fee is greatly reduced, and just using it one time a year will make up any difference in your application or to join. But all of us would love to have as many people as we can to join this effort, and it can be your association with it can be in kind, or it can be promoting fundraisers, or they have a lot of different ways in which you can support the Postmaster's house, and it's just a lovely little setting, a sweet setting just across the railroad tracks in downtown Aberdeen.
You two ladies are as credible as you can be. Thank you, and it comes from your heart, and I can tell. This is All Things Moore County. Have a great week. Thanks for listening.